Hey guys, welcome to this episode of It's Not an Interview. I'm Daniel Olabode. Thanks to everyone who listened and liked the previous episode, be that on Soundcloud or YouTube. We are also available on Stitcher and iTunes now. So if that's a platform preferred by any of you guys, you can also listen to the podcast there. Do comment, like, share the podcast. If there's anything that you find interesting from what's been said in this discussion or the previous discussions or any discussion that we may have in the future, don't hesitate to share your thoughts. So as part of the reason why I started this is to get to know people's opinions and points of view and things. And as you listen, I do want to know what you guys think of our discussions. Do like us on Facebook. You can leave your comments on Facebook as well. On our Facebook page, It's Not an Interview. On our Facebook page, you'll find links to all available platforms, be that SoundCloud, YouTube, Stitcher, iTunes. Wherever it's on SoundCloud, YouTube, or any of the other available platforms for you to access the podcast, please don't hesitate to comment or share your thoughts on the episodes, the guest, or even myself. If you have any favorite clips or quotes from any of the podcasts, let me know. Let me know in the comments section, and we could even use those clips to upload on our Facebook page. One of the good things about starting this podcast is that it has, and I hope will, allow me to reconnect with old friends who I see doing creative work and actually get a chance to speak with them and get to know a little bit about what inspired them to go on their chosen path. Today's guest is an example of that. As well as being a friend of mine since secondary school, Shanniel Christie has a website called Xploding Stereotypes, which on the surface may look like a hair blog, but at the root, Shanniel seeks to tear down preconceived notions about Afro hair and its assumed unprofessional nature. I find Shanniel to be a proponent of embracing your own unique style and identity, and I feel that this idea can be applied to many things that make people individuals, be that their clothes, the clothes that they wear, the food that they eat, or the hobbies that they like. I think that her ideas about Afro hair and embracing your unique style does just have meaning beyond just Afro hair. And I think that this conversation was a good way of exploring her ideas and getting to know what Xploding Stereotypes is really about. So let's get into it. How would you describe it?
I would say it's more like it's kind of showing people that just because you have natural hair, like, doesn't mean that you're suddenly less of a person or half a person or not a whole person or not a professional person even. Because like I would tell people, like, I went natural, I think it's been 3 years now, and when I went natural it was like the biggest deal ever. So everybody was like, why did you cut your hair? Because I had relaxed hair, but I didn't have bad hair. Like, I had what they would classify as good hair, Becky with the good hair, and all that. And then when I cut my hair, then it was like, oh my god, you had such good hair, why did you cut your hair? And it's not true. I didn't actually have good hair because my hair was breaking. My hair is really thick. You can probably see it's really thick. So I had to relax my hair once every 3 weeks. And it wasn't even like, I don't know if you know about relaxers, but it wasn't even like I was really using a regular. I was using an extra strong.
Okay.
So every 3 weeks, extra strong, burning up my head.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm just tired of this. So I just cut it all off. Yeah. So yeah, I actually did the big chop.
Okay.
Can you imagine? So I was bald. So in a way, like, in hindsight, I can kind of see why people were like, why did you cut your hair? I mean, I didn't look bad bald, in my opinion. But I think...
Who doesn't? no, just a joke. There's some beautiful bald people out there.
I think hair is just like such a big deal for women. It's like, if you don't have hair, it's like your life is over. You have no hair. So when I cut it off, it was like everybody just kept going on about it. And I really started Xploding Stereotypes literally to explode those stereotypes, because I was
Yeah.
tired. I was like so tired of people saying to me, your hair is not professional, your hair doesn't look good. One lady actually said to me, your hair is not in fashion.
As if there's a specific sort of fashion
Like,
that everyone needs to like
exactly.
keep
Like
up
you
with.
need to, like, the whole point of fashion is like individuality.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, it's like, for me, it was like, what do you mean your hair is not in fashion? How can the thing that grows out your head not be in fashion?
Yeah.
It grows out your head.
Mhm.
Like, so I was just confused. So really, exploding stereotype is literally exploding those stereotypes that just because you have natural hair, you can't be fashionable, you can't be creative, you can't be an individual, you can't be professional, you can't be attractive as well. Because like, you'll be surprised at the amount of guys that just walk past me just because I have natural hair. I'm suddenly like Black Power movement, and I'm
Oh
like,
yeah, there's my queen, my
or like Empress.
Yeah.
It's just so interesting. So yeah, that's really where the blog came from.
I found it interesting, like when you were talking about the effort that you had to take to maintain your hair prior, because it's like every few weeks, like relaxing it, changing it, or like to just fit this sort of idea of what whether it's you or someone else would want to be. I think it's cool that you're like trying to break those stereotypes and those boundaries, and saying like you should dictate how you look. You should be the person that you're trying to appeal to when you wake up in the morning, rather than like different people.
And really, you have to be happy with yourself. Like when I had relaxed hair, and I'm not saying anything is bad with relaxed hair. Like if someone don't have relaxed hair, like that's completely down to you. I think as long as your hair is healthy, it's cool. But for me, when I had relaxed hair, not only was it high maintenance, it was painful, and then I kept having to like wear weave, because it was like relaxed hair, like it's just relaxed hair, do you know what I mean? I had to wear weave, curly weave, straight hair weave, sometimes even like Afro weave, which is just like
Afro weave.
Yeah, like when you're yeah, there's like kinky hair now. Sometimes even like kinky hair, whereas like I wouldn't have my own hair, but I'll be happy to go out and put on kinky weave.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Brazilian weave.
Yeah, I had that too. The one that you can wash. But I think like just being happy in yourself, and I'm not saying like people with relaxed hair aren't happy in themselves, but I'm just saying like just being able to like be like, okay, well, this is my hair and I'm quite comfortable in it, regardless of what people say. I think that's like so rewarding and so like empowering. So yeah, I'm cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny because a lot of people aren't cool. Like I still get hassled sometimes at work.
What
People still look at me funny.
Do you mean by hassle? What how are you treated?
I wouldn't say I'm treated badly. I mean,
Yeah.
in my last job, people like loved my hair, but even with people loving my hair, it was more like, ooh, can I touch your hair?
Okay.
Let me touch your hair. And then like whenever people touch my hair, and I do understand that they didn't have the same hair as me, so obviously they weren't used to my hair. But whenever people touch my hair, it would be like, oh my god, it's soft like wool. Well, yeah, what do you think it's gonna feel like? Scratch bright? Like, I don't understand. And people feel my hair and be like, oh my god, it's so soft, because like the perception is that just because my hair looks like this, it's rough and it's haggardy and it's all kinds of stuff.
That's also because they've never, like you said, never
which I understand that.
So.
I do understand that. But then like sometimes I'm still told like, okay, well, you need to like fix your hair, or you need to do your hair this way. At church, somebody was even like, oh, your hair is very pretty, why don't you make it tidy? And I'm like, my hair is tidy. It's clean, it's washed, it's moisturized, it's curly. Like if you see somebody with like European hair, straight hair for instance, like going down the road, you're not going to be like, your hair's untidy. So why is my hair untidy just because I'm wearing it the way it grows out my head? I don't understand. It's confusing.
I find it quite interesting, especially when you're saying you even get comments at church saying, oh, why do you make it more tidy? It's like there's this idea that there's an ideal way people's hair should be, and people feel that, or even people's look should be, and people feel that, oh, if you do not fit this certain look, then they need to push you in that direction. It's flat. It's with hair, with fashion. I feel the reason why I thought it would be interesting to talk to you, because I feel like what you're doing is like it's very important in hair, but also like you can also see in different parts of like whether it's like fashion, male fashion, where it's the idea that wearing chains, wearing like gold chains, or to make yourself look like, yeah, I'm the shit. I'm sick at what I do.
I'm
like
it.
exactly.
Like, I'm the bad.
Yeah.
I know. But it's just how you see fashion. Like, everybody likes to think they're being different, but by being like, the more we try to be different is like the more we become uniformed, in a sense. Because like sometimes I go down, like I love to, like if I'm having tea, like I love to just have tea and breakfast, and I like to sit by the window because then I can watch all the people go past. And it's so interesting when you sit by the window and you watch everybody go past, and there's at least like 10 people go past behind each other, and they will all look the same.
You think so?
Yeah. Yeah, if you actually look at people, like if you actually watch people, like everybody, like you'd be like, okay, Zara, H&M, new look, and half the time what Zara has on sale is the same as what H&M has. It's just like they put one little thing on it to make it like, oh, this is very different. But when you look at fashion, it's the same. It's always the same. It's like a very uniform thing, and every so often, like, and I'm not saying this to be stereotypical in any way, but I always love like the Asians, because every so often like an Asian person or what I guess you'd call, can you actually say Oriental? There's one that you can't say. I can't remember which one it is.
I'm not sure. I think Oriental is one that you people would say.
say.
I think that's outdated. I think.
Okay,
I think Oriental is like outdated. You're not supposed to say that.
Really?
Yeah. Or it's Oriental and.
So there's one that you can't say, but anyhow, every so often an Oriental person will go by that with like, it will just completely blow like the look out the window, and I'm like, yes, you go. And it's just so interesting because there's always that one person that you're just like, oh, I love that individuality.
Yeah.
But then everybody thinks they're different. And in being different, everybody kind of end up being the same. Like you watch it in fashion sometimes. Like I just love sitting and watching people. Like for example, when like the beard look came out, then everybody was doing it, and then there was that thing where you pierce like this part of your nose, then everybody was doing it. But then it started with like one person probably just trying to be different, and then everybody started doing it, and then in being different you end up being the same. It's so interesting to watch. It's just like, oh, okay.
So how do you then like show yourself to be I feel that the what we wear and how we present ourselves to the world seems to be how we show our individuality. So then if everyone looks the same, how do you break that? How do you then show that you are an individual in the crowd? Or is that even
it's
something
very
that's
like hard, because it's like I wonder if that's even possible almost, because like it's kind of like, okay, like I love looking at fashion in a sense. I don't study fashion, so for all fashion people out there, like I don't study fashion, but I like to look at fashion and like
fashion
even
enthusiast.
Yeah, and even fashion itself is like, there's nothing new in fashion. Like if you actually like look at fashion and look at catwalks and look at what people do, like 99% of the stuff, probably 100% of the stuff is taken from like centuries ago, where you just like add one little thing to it and it's new, but it's not actually new. You know what I mean? There's so many things that I see come out and my mom says to me, oh, we were wearing that when we were children, but it used to look like this back then. Or, oh, we used to have that when we were kids, but it had this little bit of a thing to it that was a bit different.
Though you have that in like in all sorts of creative aspect. Like every story is the same. Every story is the same story. The hero of 1,000 faces, where it's like it goes through the same Carl Jungen's archetype of like hero rising to the hearing a call and rejecting the call, having a love interest, fighting the evil, slaying the dragon, and then becoming like the person he was destined to be. Like and in music, it's people hearing in modern sounds are like modified sounds from the past, or
exactly.
Like
it's the same in fashion. So it makes me wonder like how much of an individual we actually are, no matter how much we think we are individual, because like we're all influenced by things and everyone's kind of paying homage to somebody else. So it does make me wonder, like, can you actually be an individual? Like, can you really?
It's true. Like the whole idea of the individual, it's pushed a lot in like a lot of Western philosophies anyway. So I believe it was in 1950s. I remember I was watching this documentary called Century of the South, and it was essentially like this talking about the idea of like how the commercial how corporations used Freudian philosophies to like theories to promote like the individuality, and using that to like sell products. So people would then buy things to say you should buy this so you can show yourself as an individual. So people I think during the 1950s started to buy things to represent themselves rather than just for necessity. So which was pretty interesting.
Yeah, but that's interesting in itself, because it's like, number one, somebody's telling you how to be an individual, and number two, everybody who buys that thing is not individual because you're all buying the same thing.
Though, like, for example, I do think in some cases you do have. It's hard. It's weird because you're buying the same thing, but it's like
strange thing.
It's like, for example, I'm wearing like a N7 necklace and an Assassin's Creed necklace because these are two video game IPs that I like. I like Mass Effect and I like the Assassin's Creed universe. But
I'm not even gonna pretend I know any of those.
No, that's fine, cool. And it's fine. But like, it's not that you're supposed to, but it like represents something that like I as an individual like, and I like it so much that I would wear it on as necklaces. I guess with fashion as well, it's like it's supposed to, well, anyone's fashion is what they wear. So what you wear, whatever someone wears, is supposed to be like a represent themselves.
Yeah, representation. I guess that. I get that, because like me and my friend, for example, Zoe, who you know, like there was even times when we were kids and we would go shopping together and we buy the same thing, but then we come out and you're like, okay, I would never wear it like that, but it looks cool on you. Do you know what I mean? So you can kind of take the same thing, but the way you actually portray that same thing is completely different. But I think it's like we're all influenced by things, whether we like to admit it or not. People tend to not like to admit it because everybody's like, oh my god, I'm so individual, until you meet somebody that's just like you and you're like, man, I thought I was individual like until I met you. Like, you're just like, you know, because you meet people and you've got that connection and you're like, oh, we're so similar. Do you know what I mean? And then your whole individuality just goes out the window and you're like, darn. But then that's nice as well. It's not like a bad thing. Yeah,
because you have that shared sense of the experience that you have. Because
that's what makes that's what makes common ground, and that's what makes friendships as well. Because like it's like if you meet people who like Mass Effect and
Assassin's Creed,
automatically you can have a conversation about that and make friendships out of it. But it's a very like, it's an interesting thing really. It's an interesting thing really, because I just find, like, I like to think I'm individual just because I just do what I want. Like, I won't necessarily shop in Zara or shop in H&M or shop in Primark. Like, I will just go wherever. Like, so where do you go? Want wherever.
So wherever. What is wherever? It's not Zara. I'm
not saying I don't shop in Zara. I do shop in Zara. Yeah. But you know how some people are very anal about where they shop. So it's like, I will only, like, I've met people that will be like, I will only shop in Zara, and I've met people that will only shop in the high street. I'm quite happy to go down to the market, and I'm quite happy to go to the sale, and I'm quite happy to and I will wear whatever. I don't care if it costs me £2 or if it costs me £5 or if it costs me like £20. I'll wear it just because I like it, and I'm not fussed over things like I've seen people, like, so many people have come to me and be like, oh my god, you're so amazing, it's so great that you can wear white. I'm like, why can't you wear white? Do you know what I mean? Or people just like, oh, yellow doesn't suit me, it's just not my colour. I don't care. Like, I'll put it on and I'll wear it and I'll be like, yep, I'm rocking this right now. So I think in no sense I like to think I'm quite individual, but at the same time I think maybe I'm fooling myself a little bit.
Well, like, I think in a way, like, I think you're owning your look. You're saying, like, this is, I don't care what you think, this is what I like to wear.
I'm quite proud of that. Like, I couldn't care less. Like, I see people that would be so like caught up in just being like, oh, this thing, I bought it for like how much money from Bradley or wherever, and I'm just like, yep, I bought this thing for £2 down the road and I look good in it. You know what I mean? So it's like, whatever. Because the value for you, the value doesn't come from how much it costs. Exactly. It comes from like, well, how it makes you feel, like how and how you wear it as well. Because like just because something's expensive doesn't mean it looks better.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, so it's different. It's different for different people, and I'm quite aware as well that those people who buy their things for like £300 from Dolce & Gabbana, they feel quite special in it, and I'm like, good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. So it's fine.
Yeah. So what do you say about because I wanted to ask you about like Korean design, Korean fashion, because we went over that. But what do you think? You're saying that or you said Asian before, but I was thinking of like Korean fashion. But what is it about like Asian fashion that makes you think that they know how to?
You know what it is though? I think it's confidence in self.
Yeah.
I think that's what I quite enjoy about a lot of them. Like a lot of them have like rules. So there's all these rules that I didn't know about. Like, for example, I recently learned that in some situations, if you are wearing like a short skirt, then you have to like cover like your upper half.
Okay.
But then if you're wearing like something that shows off your boobs a lot, you have to wear long trousers. It's like you can't do both at the same time.
Yeah, it's like a yin yang.
Yeah. I didn't know that, but I find it quite interesting. I was like, oh, okay, cool. But also I think it's just the way, like, sometimes like I see them and it's almost like they kind of just, and I know they don't, but it reminds me of somebody who just wakes up and throw on their clothes without a care in the world.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is like the individuality of, like, that word again, but you know what I mean, it's like you come out and you'll be wearing like bright purple socks with blue shoes or something, and most people would never do that, or they want to do that, but they don't. Exactly. It's just like, I cannot pull that off, but they will do that, and it's just like, it's cool. And I think it's almost like people have got to the point where they accept it just because it's like, oh well, it's them, so it's okay. But I think what I find quite interesting is like, anybody can do that, but people don't have the confidence to do it. And sometimes when you do it, almost sometimes because you're not from like culture, people kind of look at you like funny. It's almost like when they do it, it's like, yeah, this is cool because it's them. So whatever. Like, I once went out in yellow shoes and what was it? I think it was like pink socks or something. Yeah. And it was funny because I was walking down the road and I saw this Asian girl and she was like, "You look so cool." She was across the road, and it was like the funniest thing ever because I was talking to my friend on the phone and I was like, "Thanks," and she walked by, like it was just nothing. So it was like, "Yeah, you look amazing," and she left, and I was like to my friend, I've arrived," because I was just like, I just got complimented by. Do you know what I mean? It's like the coolest thing because you're just like, oh my god, she complimented me, and this is like that. It's just like, oh, but it's not like it's anybody's thing. Yeah, it's a thing that is for the world. Yeah, but I think sometimes it's sad that people just don't have the confidence to just be the person that they want to be inside. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's what I love about that level of fashion. Like sometimes I look at it, whether it be the anime community, or you know, any of those. I just love the fact that it's like it's a normality. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, we do this and we're okay doing this and whatever. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas most people will just be like, oh, I love the fact that they can do that, but I can't do that. And that's what I think. It's just the confidence to be, essentially. Because I think it goes back to like that, like thinking, oh, I couldn't do it because of, or I genuinely believe that when someone says that, oh, I can't do it, it's because of how they perceive of other people, like judging them for it. It's they're putting other people's ideas and opinions before their own selves, and that becomes that controls the way that they live their lives, like in a way, because if you do not put yourself before others, then
your others are going to control how you live, how you think, how you work, and then.
And to be honest, yeah, like, it don't matter what you do, people are still going to judge you. Like, I could go out looking the most normal I could ever look, and somebody be like, why she look so normal? Like,
so then if you're going to judge you, if your people going to judge you regardless, then it's like, just screw it. I don't, like you said, I don't care. Like, I'm just going to do what I do.
Exactly. And that's what I love about fashion. It's just, like, literally the confidence to be, like, just having the confidence to be, like, that's the greatest thing about fashion. Like, when I look at people like Afro, or like, they're just like, she's really old. Like, I'm sorry, Iris, but she's kind of Asian. Sometimes I look at her like, you're Asian, but her husband's like 100, so you know, like, she's in that age range. But she's just the coolest thing ever. She's old, like, she's like your funky old grandma, fashion icon, but so amazing, even like at her age. Do you know what I mean? And if you listen to her talk, she says things like, she doesn't like feel that she's very pretty. So she says, like, when she was younger, she had to be very quirky and very funky, and the reason for that is because she wasn't very pretty, so she almost accommodated for it, like, using her fashion sense. And I just think, like, all that stuff is so, like, amazing, the fact that you can just be whatever you want just through your clothes. So it would be nice if people could just take that step to do it, regardless of whether they're judged or not, because like I said, people are going to judge you anyhow. Like, sometimes, like, I bought this dress recently. I went to this shop, it's called Beyond Retro. It's very retro, and I bought this dress. It's very old fashioned. it was literally beyond retro. And I bought this dress there, and it was so old that the guy, when I went to get it dry clean, the guy said to me, if you put this in a machine, it might possibly fall apart.
Oh, wow.
And I bought it. I went to this convention, and I bought the dress with me. Like, I washed it, I dry cleaned it. It was expensive to dry clean it. Ooh, child. But I brought it to this convention with me, and when I took it out my suitcase and I hung it up, my friend saw it and she laughed. She laughed, and she went, "Where are you gonna go in that?" And I went, "To the convention tomorrow." And she was laughing. She was like, "Do you know how ugly that dress is, or how old it is?" And then the next day I wore it, and I funked it up. I put my necklace on, I had my hair all out. And she went, "That looks quite good, actually." Do you know what I mean? Jeez. But it's like, if I just listen to her just going, that dress is so ugly, like, I would never be able to just step out in it. And sometimes I go out with my friends, and, like, I'll pick up something that doesn't necessarily look amazing, and they'll say to me, "Please don't buy that." And I'll just look at them, and they know me well enough to go, "You're gonna buy that, aren't you?" And I'm like, hell yeah. And then I'll wear it, and they'll be like, "Oh my god, that looks good." Do you know what I mean? So what are you gonna do? Like, not grow natural, not wear what you want, not dress how you want, not do what you want, just because, like, somebody thinks that's not the right way to do it. Not me.
So where do you normally find these places to buy clothes? And because, like, say someone wants to find an identity for themselves, obviously it's always depending on the person's personality and what they have to what they want to, how they want to represent themselves in terms of fashion. But, like, where would someone start? Like, how do you know?
It depends. Like, for me personally, because, like, I'm one of those people that don't really like wearing, well, I don't really like my clothes being like everybody else's clothes. I know this is quite normal because I got this from New York, so it's not, I'm not really selling it right now.
I saw like 10 people just today wearing it. No,
actually, I've never seen anyone wearing this dress, and today I got loads of compliment for it, but it's like, "Oh, your dress is nice." But I've had it since, like, last winter, and this is the first time I've worn it. And what do you call it? So a lot of my clothes actually come from, like, the market, retro stores, or charity shops. I love charity shops because, like, charity shops are the stuff that your grandma gives away. Like, the amount of people that see me and be like, "Oh my god, this skirt is amazing, it looks like something my grandma would wear," and I'm like, "Yeah, it is." It probably came from your grandma. But I love charity shops in that sense because it's like, it's almost stuff that this generation isn't actually wearing, because this generation is quite, and it's not a bad thing at all, but it's a lot of, like, you know, we kind of all dress a certain way and so forth. But when I go to a charity shop, it's like I can pick up something that my grandma was wearing back in like the 60s, and nobody in Zara or H&M or New Look is gonna have that. Do you know what I mean? So for me, like, it offers me that level of individuality where it's like, okay, cool, like I can have this and I can wear it and I can rock it. And that's the great thing about my hair as well, because it doesn't matter what I put on. If I put my hair on top of it, it's like, oh, you look quite retro. Even when I'm not being retro, it's like your hair just adds that flair to it. So yeah, a lot of my shopping is kind of done in thrift stores, just because everything there is kind of different.
So when you like when you have a piece of clothing that, and you feel that, okay, yeah, no one's wearing this, but then maybe one day, have you ever encountered like someone wearing the same clothes as you? Said, oh, you that little, how dare you? You just like try and like find where they live and just burn their clothes.
And burn their house down.
How do you feel when you see like someone wearing the same clothes as you?
Then I think to myself, you are cool. You have style.
Okay.
Nah. In all fairness, like, it doesn't happen very often, unless I went to somewhere like Primark or even New Look or something. But it's very rare, and like it's very rare that I see someone wearing the same things as me. But if I did, I wouldn't mind it, and I wouldn't have any problem like complimenting that person on how they look, because I think that's quite important. It's like, if you see someone and they have something and you like it, then it's like, cool. Do you know what I mean? And if someone has the same style as me as well, like sometimes you're a bit like, I've got that. But then at the same time, you're like, okay, cool. Somebody who actually has that similar kind of swag and that similar kind of look as you. It's nice in a way, but also at the same time, the big deal about individuality is, just because you have the same skirt as me don't mean you're going to wear it in the same way as me. You know what I mean?
It's like
you've
having
you've got a different pair of shoes or a different pair of top. You do your hair a bit differently, and it's like a completely different outfit. So.
And sometimes it's like you may have the same skirt or maybe the same trousers, but maybe the way you walk in them and the way the way you move in them, like that also gives you a different
the swag that you have.
Yeah.
And sometimes as well, I see people, like, even if they wear the same thing as me and they wear it a bit differently, then I'm like, I have a skirt at home that's a bit different. I want still that top look that you have on, and I just know that's gonna work. So like, that's the thing about research and ideas. Like, people feed off each other all the time, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. So it's fine.
I need to talk to you about your blog, because I know I haven't talked to you yet about it. So you said you started your blog Xploding Stereotypes in 2015 or 16.
Yeah, I started in 2015 and failed in 2015. I crashed it.
How? No. What did you do?
I don't even know. The thing is that I thought I was doing normal things, so I kept uploading. I think what happened was, like, the pictures were too large, because I didn't know about things like cutting down pictures to size. I just thought I could just upload it like I do on my Instagram, you know what I mean? Like,
okay.
So the pictures were too large, which made it slow. It was just a lot of things. Like lots of techie things. Things like the fact that you can't have too much plugins. You have to be careful of your plugins. So
you were managing the website by yourself as well. You weren't taking the pictures, because in your blogs you're posing posing with a lot of cool fashion.
So my friend Olivia, hi Olivia. Olivia takes all my pictures.
Yeah.
So yeah, usually we just meet up and we just do a shoot, probably on a weekend or something. But in terms of the website, I did all the management of that. Yeah. So all the uploading, all the content, all the text is written by me, and everything, and all the promotion and everything else. Yeah, I made a lot of mistakes, and then one day it crashed, and WordPress, HostGator, who hosts my blog, they couldn't fix it, which I don't understand. I'm like, aren't you guys supposed to be technicians? But apparently not. They couldn't fix it, so in 2016 I actually started it again. Yeah. And I actually revamped it in 2016, so I actually paid someone this time to actually get it looking the way I wanted it to look, because I kind of had like a vision in my head for it, but I could never get it done myself.
Yeah.
And I tried to read lots of books and everything, but God.
Leave it to the professionals.
Yeah.
But that gives you more time to work on your fashion, on your photography, writing your blogs.
Yeah, I guess
and the
in
stuff
a
you
sense.
write in your blogs as well.
Yeah, yeah. So I just left it to this guy, and he did all my design, and then I just did all the uploading. After that, I learned how to cut the pictures down, make sure the size was smaller. I started paying for like Lightroom, because I realized that you could edit all the pictures in one go. You make them all the same size in one go, as opposed to doing them one by one. So anything to make life convenient. I really don't have time to be like just fluffing around on pictures, but it's going better now. It's going better. It's been a year. Oh, a year, God. Yeah, it's just the way it is, really.
You're gonna have like you said you're gonna have another blog post next week. And what's the topic gonna be on?
So I have one on Monday. It's actually on spring. I think it's called Yellow Sunshine and Summer. Something to do with I know it doesn't sound like the best post ever, but it's really about like it's just a post of me wearing yellow, and I love yellow in the summer, because I think like it just makes you happy. Like there's something about the sun and summer and spring that just makes you like really happy.
Yeah, everyone just gets more positive.
Yeah. So I love it. So it's really about that. It's really about summer and like loving summer and how the sun makes you happy, and then showing a pose or a fashion outfit that really kind of demonstrate the mood that you have during the spring.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what it was really covering.
And again, like the stuff that you're wearing is again this stuff that you've chosen, that you've curated, that said that this is the look that which is pretty cool. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a bit modern. Like my skirt is vintage, but the rest of it's modern. So it's a bit of a blend, as my outfits tend to be. I kind of do like to have a bit of modern with a bit of vintage.
Yeah.
I don't really want to look like I'm completely from the 60s.
Yeah.
I'm still young. You know what I mean? Like only in my 20s. Time travel
exists. Like,
because sometimes I wonder about it, because I'm like, if I keep dressing like this now, what am I gonna wear when I'm old? Do you know what I mean?
Would you? I wonder, like, would you still, like, when you're old, would you wear the modern clothes of that era?
That's what I think to myself. I'm like, am I gonna like revert and start dressing like a child when I get to like 60? I don't know.
And it'll be, and probably the young people of that era will be like, no, don't wear that. You look.
Yeah.
Unless, but yeah, that's always a thing you wonder what I wonder about.
I do think that as well. I'm like, maybe I'll just revert, because like if you're wearing vintage now, like how much more vintage can you wear? Like how many more years can you just be vintage?
Just go back to like 4,000 like BC.
Yeah.
Just start wearing like ancient.
I know. Or do I have to keep my clothes from like now and like wear them when I'm 60? Like, I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, blogging's going well though. I think it's a little bit hard to get followers on a blog, because with stuff like YouTube, it's like you watch a video and it's over. But people don't really like reading. Like even if you like tap onto a blog, you kind of look at the pictures and then you just go, because I think our generation don't really like reading that much. The
attention span seems to be a lot less. People want things in like quick bites. Like if it's not in a short segment, then people it's too hard for them to
digest.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so in that case, it's like I think it's taken a while to get tapped onto, but it's fine, because everything takes time. And to be honest with you, I'm not really blogging to like be famous. Like I'm blogging because, like I said, of the experiences that I've had, and I think it's important that anybody out there who's going through a similar experience can know that actually this is okay. Do you know what I mean? I also do guest posts. So for example, if somebody has natural hair and they have great fashion sense, then I'll go out and I'll take their pictures and I'll get them to talk about their look and their hair and any challenges that they might have faced, so that people can actually see that, number one, it's not just me moaning, but also like this is a real everyday thing that, you know, lots of people are going through. And not everyone goes through challenges with their hair, and I get that, but lots of people go through, it might not be like somebody saying your hair isn't amazing, but it might just be like how long it takes to wash your hair, or, you know, like how hard it can be maybe to find an outfit that suits your hair, or how hard it can be to like style your hair if you have like weddings, or you know, there's different things that people go through.
And I even think it can be literally be a metaphor for other aspects of life, so other aspects where you feel that people, where you may have the pressure from the outside world to be to fit into a certain box. I feel like this, as well as being literally about hair, it can be metaphorically about whatever sort of experience or expectation people go through. So
yeah, I think that's also a good point. Like, for example, I think that's also a good point. For example, like, I noticed, and maybe I'm just being a bit paranoid about it, but I noticed, like, for example, whenever, like, even now, because sometimes I wear like braids or weave to do protective styling, and whenever I go out in braids, like, lots of guys will come up to me and be like trying to chat me up. But if I go out with my hair like this, sometimes people just walk past me in the street. Like, they look at me and then they're like...
You're a good social experiment to see which hairstyle like attract men.
Yeah, it's interesting because guys are always like, yes, we love you with your normal hair. But then when you have women like with their normal hair, sometimes like people just walk past you. And then the people who come up to me are like, yeah, all right, I'm an empress. And I'm like... I'm like, just because I have natural hair don't make me like... No Egyptian or no Black Power Panther or... There's
a big fetishization with like a certain group of like black men where they see, it's like they fetish over like the black woman with natural hair. I think it derives from like a really genuine place where they want to, they're fighting for the same sort of things that you're fighting for, trying to like break people from the expectations of like having to texturize their hair, having to like straighten their hair, look more European. But I feel it feels like it's become more of a fetishization, and it's like they're looking at the hair rather than the individual, if that makes sense.
That becomes a problem, because then it's like I'm suddenly not a person, I'm just an Afro, like, and I'm just like, what is that? It's so weird to me. But there's always, and it doesn't really matter, like, I'm saying that to say, like, I do agree with what you just said, because it doesn't matter if it's hair or something else, there's always going to be people who just view you in one way. It's like, now that I have natural hair, there are guys who view me as, and not just guys but girls as well, who sometimes like view me as like some radicalist. Do you know what I mean? like I'm gonna suddenly bust out, you know, some black book and start quoting, I don't know, do you know what I mean? But I'm just like, guys, it's cool. Like, I'm still a normal person. I just have like natural hair. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't matter. It's really sad, but there's always gonna be people trying to put you in boxes. You know what I mean? In the same way that if you have relaxed hair, there's gonna be somebody trying to put you in a box for that. Or if you have if you have what is considered not normal fashion sense or radical fashion sense, there's gonna be somebody trying to put you in a box for that. Or if you have, it doesn't matter, there's so many boxes that people are always trying to put you in just because like it suits them. Do you know what I mean? A lot of the boxes people try to put you in is because like we need to be something, we need to be identified as something.
So people can register. Okay, who are you? I need to understand you quick. Let's like a quick bite so people can understand. Okay, cool. You're this person. Got right. Yeah. And then they don't need to think about it anymore.
Exactly. And then they talk to you and they're like, "Oh, you're actually not.
You're more complex than I thought. Yeah. You're a human being." So it's funny when that expectation is just by just communicating with someone and actually getting to know them, then whatever expectation is just,
it kind of eradicates this tiny box, because we're so much bigger than these boxes that people try to put us in. You know what I mean? We're so much more complex and we're so much bigger and we're so much more interesting as well. Like, so sometimes it's just a bit like tiring. It almost makes you tired because you're always it's kind of like, I don't understand why I always have to be digging myself out of a hole that I never put myself in the first place. Do you know what I mean? Like every day, it's like I'm trying to explode a stereotype because somebody's decided that this is who I am, or this is how I am, or this is how I should be, or because I'm now not the way they expect me to be, I should now defend myself. You know, I should now be defensive or on a high defending myself because I don't fit into this stereotype. So
yeah.
What do you think?
I agree, completely agree, because I feel in my life as well, I've had to, especially growing, I've had to like fight. There's always a perception of what you should be like, if it's because, okay, you're black, so you should like these certain types of things or act a certain type of way, and if you don't do that, then then obviously what are you doing, like
what are you doing with your life?
Exactly. Like the idea for when I was growing up, I like being called like, or how many times have I been called like an Oreo? How many times have I been called like what's the other one? What's the other thing? A coconut, because I don't do things that are stereotypically black. What does that even mean? What is stereotypically black? Because black is a skin color. It's not even
it's not even like a personality.
Yeah, it's if it was even if it was an ethnicity, then you could say, okay, the people from this region. If you're Middle Eastern, okay, you're from this region, so you can derive certain things from that culture. But black is a skin color. You can have black Americans, you have black Africans, you have black Europeans. So that's what I found quite baffling. So
it's like when people say to me, "You don't look Jamaican," and I say like, well, "What does a Jamaican look like?" Like, do we have big heads? Like, do we have like what? Like, what makes you? It's just interesting.
Yeah.
But do you find that sometimes like you have to defend yourself?
Yeah, I mean, especially when the point where it's like you said, it's tiring, it gets very annoying, because it's like, oh, you're not, like, for example, they're using the same scenario. It's like, oh, you're not black because you don't do this, and I'm like, what? Like, I have to defend like my interest and say like, or because say it's because I want, like, I'm with at the time it was like group of black people, and they are maybe dismissing my own interests. I have to try and like defend those interests, because obviously like these are things that I am interested in. So if you're dismissing it, obviously I would defend it, because like this is what I like, hear this out and hear my point of view. But the idea of like just dismissing, saying no, it's black, it's not what we like, so therefore it's not, obviously this is not everyone, but it's just from my experience. But it was quite frustrating. I'm sure I'm not the only person to experience that, where like you don't fit into, like you could say, in that particular type of that group, so people would dismiss what you do.
I find it can be like quite intimidating as well, because it's almost like you're intimidating into conforming, even if you don't believe what they believe. You kind of just go along with it because you don't want to be seen as like different. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it takes such like confidence and such a long time in your life before you get to the place where you're like, actually, I don't care. Like, I like this and I like this, and you're not contributing anything to my life, so like I don't care. But it makes me wonder like how many people actually like get to that place where they're like, actually, I'm okay with this.
And it must take a long time for, especially growing up with like growing up, it must be hard, because there's always that social pressure, the expectation to fit into certain groups. Like, if I remember when I was growing up, it was the same thing, kind of with music. Like I listened to a lot of different types of music. It was rap, rap to classical to pop to like indie rock diverse. To like very diverse. So, but I was I was really anxious about like listening to anything that wasn't I guess anything that wasn't rap and hip hop. If I listened to that out loud, I would be like quite anxious because oh shit, like what how people would like exactly. Yeah. Even like the first, I'm not ashamed to say, like the first like album I downloaded wasn't even like a lyrical album. I was like I remember I downloaded the soundtrack to Sonic Heroes because I love Sonic Heroes.
I know you love Sonic. You used to like Sonic.
Sonic is still my guy, man. Like honestly,
you used to love Sonic. I remember you used to draw him in every class. Oh god.
So like I because like I really loved Sonic Heroes, so I download the album and like I would just listen to the soundtrack to some of the levels, or even like the intro, like intro. I'm not gonna sing it, but even like I would, and that was my thing. I would be in my world and say like, yeah, this is what I like. But if anyone would check my iPod or wherever it was playing on, I'll get really anxious because it's not what I would assume that they don't like it, so therefore
it's not typically black, is it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And because again I was indoctrinated into that idea that I have, being a black guy, I have to fit into this particular sense of being, and I think it wasn't until I remember, I hope he doesn't mind me saying that there was this one guy we both know, Arian from secondary school. I remember he must have came, I think this was like when I was in year 7 or year 8, or it could have been year 9, I don't know, but he was on the bus, and obviously like he was like a cool guy from secondary school, like into martial arts, like quite strong, athletic as well. Like he's still doing it now, like he's
like he's a proper guy, isn't he?
Yeah. But then
quotation marks.
And then I remember like he went on the bus, and he had his music on, and I could hear it was playing it was out loud. He was playing this Katy Perry song. It was like, what's the song? It's like, I kissed a girl and I liked it. It was just, but he was just on the bus, like sit with a serious face, just like that, just waiting as the bus was moving. Like, I kissed a girl and I liked it, and just like, and then I don't know, that moment really helped me because it was just I was able, without him knowing, I was able to get a window into what he likes and what he was doing, and it was like,
and that he was okay with it
exactly
as well.
And I thought that was a really cool moment because that really helped me like become more comfortable in what I like to do. So, and because I guess when I was growing up, I was quite shy, quite anxious with myself anyway. Like I was always hyper aware of how my actions could be perceived. So it made me really anxious of how I acted.
Yeah.
So
see, I didn't actually know that about you.
Yeah. I was like, even now, even to this moment, like even today, like when I do things, I try to like push it to the side and ignore it. But it was, even when I do ridiculous things, like I remember I went to Comic-Con and I cosplayed as this Nigerian prince who was asking people for sort code and account numbers. So I had the proper attire, but as I was doing, and I was shouting out, going to random people, like I think these acts help me like with my confidence. But at the same time, as I do it, like if you look at my hand, I'm shaking like hell, like it's crazy. So, but I try to like do those things where it's just complete out of my comfort zone, so I can just like push my anxiety to the side. But it's still it's difficult. It's difficult. It's always, it's always going to be difficult, but it's fun. Like it's one of those.
Yeah, it's one of those moments you look back on, you're like, that was fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I guess the same thing with fashion. When anyone wants to take that step to becoming their own.
Yeah, because if I wear something outside that's completely crazy, I am aware people are looking at me, and you do feel a bit like conscious about it, and like, especially like because I'm black, Like, I'm black. Like, I can't get away from being black. So
What?
all the black people
Sorry,
who are very, like, almost kind of normal in a sense, you know, normal, whatever that is in a sense, they do kind of look at you because they're like, what's this crazy girl doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, other cultures kind of don't care as much as your own culture sometimes, I find. They kind of do look at you kind of funny, like, but then, like, those are people you'll never see again. So, like, I have to remind myself of that. And you know what it is, though? Like, I'm getting older now, and I think I'm at the point, like, if I'm going to do something and I don't feel comfortable doing it, I tend to ask myself these questions. Like, so I have these set of questions, and I'm like, okay, like, these people that I'm going to see, like, are they family or friends? No. Do they pay my bills? No. Are they my husband? No. Like, am I having sex with them? No. Do they contribute anything to my life? No. And if it's no to all of those questions, then I tend to be like, well, then your opinion doesn't really matter, because there's nothing that you're giving me that would kind of warrant me having to conform to your way of thinking.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So once I've answered those questions, and I'm kind of like, cool. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think you have to just look at life like that, because otherwise, like, you'll never do anything.
Yeah.
You'll never do anything. And like, I'm kind of used to, it's kind of bad, but I think, like, with the hair and and all of that, I think I'm kind of now at the point where I'm kind of used to people, like, saying stuff. It's a bit like when I was in school, like, when, you know, we were in school together. Like, I think out of all the girls, like, me and Zoe was probably, like, the only anime freaks. Like, we watched everything. Naruto, Bleach, everything. Like, we watched everything, and it wasn't the norm to do any of that, you know what I mean? Like, even up until now, sometimes it's a bit more normal now, but people still like, you still watch? And I'm like, yeah, like, I still love that stuff. Like, I've got the apps on my phone, and I read them on the bus, and I read them on home, and sometimes it's not seen as the norm, but I think you have to just do what you love regardless, because it's your life, man. You only live once. Like, do you know how quickly, like, I mean, most people live till then. If you're lucky, you'll make it to 90. If you're lucky, you'll make it to 70. That's a blessing. Like, 70 years is not that long. Like, you have to do what you want in that time. Like, life is so short. Like, I remember when, like, we were in school, like, bishops only seem like, it doesn't seem that far away. Like, when I think back on it, I'm like, oh my God, that was like, what, like 8 years ago?
Yeah, we finished
when we finished,
it
was like 8 years ago. Like, I can still remember all the stuff that happened. I remember all the people. I remember all the annoying people. I remember all the good people. Like, you still, like, sometimes we still, like, me and Zoe, we still reminisce, and is that the word? You know,
reminisce.
It's a big word. We still talk about stuff like that, and we're like, do you remember that time when, like, this thing happened, and oh my God, that person was so annoying, or do you remember this person? And it doesn't, like, seem that long ago. Like, we can actually recount it like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
But it was like 8 years ago. Like, how much quicker will I look back in another 8 years and be like, oh my God, do you remember when me and Daniel sat in that place and we recorded that?
Focus, yeah.
That was 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, if you don't grab life by the hand, like, time's not going to stop and wait for you. So you just have to do what you want to do. Like, as long as it's safe and moral and all of that, you know what I mean? Just do it. Just do it. You have to have the confidence to do it, because I don't want to look back at my life, like, in regret. Like, I want to, like, I've got a bucket list of things that I want to do, and I want to accomplish them all, like, before I die. And I want to, like, when I'm lying on my deathbed, I shouldn't be like, oh man, if I'd known, I would have done this thing. I never want to get to that place.
What's one of the things?
Like, I need to go traveling.
Yeah.
So I want to see, like, there's so many places I want to see. My first, like, trip has to be to Thailand. I've always wanted to go to Thailand. I want to write a book before I die. I'm going to shave my head again. Because, like, I just think
completely, so you can, like, slap it and then just so you see that the sun, like, beaming from it.
Yeah, I'm gonna shave my head again. I'm still a bit scared. That's probably one of the scariest things that I want to do. But this is kind of sad, but because I've always wanted to get married, like, with my real hair, so my husband's gonna have a shock. One day I come over and be like, hey honey, I'll be bald. But yeah, like I don't want to like get my life snuffed out and no. And the thing is, like, you don't know when you're gonna die as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to start like just doing what you want now, because there's no guarantee you're gonna make it till you're 70. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even if you die tomorrow, you shouldn't have any regrets. That's just how I see it.
That's beautiful. I think that's a good way to end it. I think that is. What do you think?
Yeah, it's 1 hour.
Yeah. I know, because I felt like, how much more longer do I have to talk? My throat is dry now.
Yeah. Thank you, Shanniel. That was really good. I really enjoyed that. I hope
Thank you.
How did you find it?
No, it was a good conversation. I think sometimes it's good to talk about like the stuff in life that are affecting you or you're thinking about, because sometimes you don't actually get to essentially what they would call put pen to paper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't get to actually, just fluff out all the things that are in your head.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to actually be able to talk about it with someone who's like not only interested in what you have to say, but can actually relate to what you have to say. So I think that's very important. And yeah, I hope anybody that's watching as well will actually be able to see themselves in it and know that we're not bound by anything and we're way bigger than any box that anybody will try to put us in.
Thanks for listening to the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. You can follow Shanniel's blog, Xploding Stereotypes, on her site, xplodingstereotypes.com, and on Instagram at Xploding Stereotypes. Links are in the description. Shanniel is also on Twitter at Christie_Shanny. So if you would like to feature on her blog, you can. Shanniel has a section in her blog called Your Style, where she promotes essentially your style and the styles of the people that she features. If you would like to feature on this section of the blog, you can contact Shanniel. She's on Twitter at Christie_Shanny, but the link is also in the description. You can hit her up for more details. Today's music is from the ambient rock band Zon, from their album Scream. If you like the band, then you're also free on June 11th and in the Notting Hill area. You can see the band perform for free at the Acklam Village Market at 2 p.m. All details are on their Facebook page at Facebook, Zon Band, but links are in the description again. You can also subscribe to their YouTube channel at Zon Official Band. And if you like the music and you want to download the EP, you can also do so for free at meaningformusic.com/buy. Again, all the details are in the description, so you can also like and follow this podcast. You can like and follow Xploding Stereotypes, and you can like and follow Zon. Now, I hope you enjoy the music.
Try
I've been poisoned, I've been drowned, I've been turning inside out. I've been flying high above the clouds. Now I'm deeper than the ocean. I am wider than the sea, overflowing with emotion, fresher than a summer breeze. even you